Hey guys, it's been a while since we had a thermal printer to show you. Today I have the JCONLY Artfly. It is a thermal printer and we're going to test it out so we can make tattoo stencils of all different kinds. Before we start, you should know it's $260, but we have 10% off for you if you use code FLOATY at checkout. Just make sure you use the link in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, let's take a look at the Artfly. Before I open up this JCONLY Artfly thermal printer, I do want to mention that the paper is $18, so total you'll be around $288 for this whole package. Okay, we have the manual. This should tell us how to connect to the app that will control the printer. So right here, you'll see in the App Store, it's the tattoo printer. I might even have that app already, so it'll probably be a separate device for that app if you already have it. Okay, let's take a look at the printer. Got it really well packaged in here. Should be in good shape. Okay, as you can see, the Artfly is actually a good looking little printer here. It doesn't weigh too much. It's nice and lightweight. It's on the medium size, I would say. You could make printers bigger than this, I'm sure. I do like seeing these features right here. Because I do feel like that always helps the feeder process. If you don't have that, you're feeding through a slot, and then if there's an error, it's harder to fix. So I do like that that goes up and down. That's going to be how we get the paper out. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure we have the app downloaded. Okay, now we're in the app, and from here, we're going to add an image. So we're going to go to add. I have things already saved for today that I want to do. I'm just going to add them all to this little library here. Perfect. All right, let's check out the printer and see how that functions. We need to grab some paper to put in here. Let's see their paper. So here is a piece of JCONLY Artfly paper. Looks pretty similar to other papers we've seen. It's got the Gentian Violet as the color, and of course we take out the middle section. Take off the back. Ooh, nice perforations for our yellow. We love that. Okay, let's turn on the Artfly. Looks like it's charged up for us. It says it's ready. There might be some syncing process we have to do here. All right, so now that we have pressed the picture that we want, we can see this image here come up, and it's just telling us that we need to connect to the printer. I'm going to click that. Okay, now it should be connected. I'm going to press my picture again, and this time, instead of going to that page, it went ahead to the actual printer page. All right, let's take a look here. So I can see a nice ruler on the side. I like that. I usually want to change that to inches, which is in this top right portion. So there we go. We have it in inches now. Material and mine is interesting. So this is how you kind of access the device and information about that, it looks like. Material is playing with the image. All right. We have size edit, where you can crop in what you're working with, so you can crop in the picture. You can lock the aspect ratio. You can rotate the image using the top right rotator tool. You can probably add another picture, I'm assuming, somewhere on here. Yep, we have all these settings at the bottom. Beautify, cut out, 3D, crop, rotate, copy, add, save, and drawing board. Oh, and Word, you can add a Word. Lots of options here. Not sure if you utilize all those, but let's just make sure it's a good printer. So we're gonna just line this up somewhere in the middle here. We're gonna go to print button on the top right. So print mode, standard, AI. Not sure what AI stands for, if it's the AI we know or some other AI. We have the temperature, low, medium, or high. Those are the settings for the darkness. So generally for fine line, I notice that it comes out a little light. So I go high for that. And yeah, so we have print mode, standard, or AI. Not sure what that controls, but let's just leave it standard. All right, so we see arrows here. So I'm assuming we're going in this way. Let's see. Perfect. So it grabbed it with ease. It's through to the other side. All I had to do was kind of present it into this slot here. Now I have the white side up and the yellow is off and the middle piece of paper is out. So you need all that to be just right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to press print. It sounded really efficient as a printer, like it was getting a lot of good detail in there. Let's take a look. Yeah, wow, that looks great. Okay, so I see really, really nice details in this print. I would be very happy to use that. Especially on the smaller little leaves here. On the tiger cub, you can see those all got in there perfectly. It seems like the resolution is excellent. I'm even getting these teeny tiny little lines over here. All the dot work looks good in the tiger. Very nice. So far, so good. This printer is excellent. We want to keep testing it. I have other kinds of tattoos, so let's go ahead and put in some realism. Okay, we'll get another piece of paper here. This paper seems really good. I'd love to, the final test would be to actually use the paper on skin to see how well it sticks. All right, again, we're just going to flip this around so that the white side is up. And we're just gonna present that this way into this hole. If you give it just a moment, it will suck it right into the perfect spot. Excellent. All right, I'm going back to my images now, and I'm going to select something a little more detailed, some portrait work here. For the portraits, I'm going to print them at medium saturation. They are the actual portraits themselves. I've gotten a lot of comments from people asking for that. So I put the actual portrait of Catwoman in there. I also have one that's like the direct portrait drawing of Grogu, and I also have Wonder Woman. So all of these three are like a little different forms of portraits, from a little more simple to a little more complicated. So I thought that'd be a good test for you guys. I just did Grogu the other day, came out great, and I was able to print it really small. So I hope this thing can do the same. That would be like a micro portrait. So we want to make sure he's pretty small. Let me just double check. Okay, so we're gonna go 3 inches or so with him. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's try it. So we're on medium because we have so much darkness in this. I really don't think we need the high saturation. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and print. And as you can see, I don't need to guide it at all. It's doing all the work on its own. All right, let me open it up. You don't even really need to open it. I think this is mostly for jams because it comes right out. Okay, let's see. All right, so what's nice about the JCONLY paper is it's not oversaturated or clumpy. I'm seeing very, very nice resolution here. These would make excellent guides for tattoos. Grogu looks awesome. I can see all the little details in that scarf. My goodness. This little collar, I mean, not, I guess it's kind of a scarf collar. Scarf collar? Collar scarf? Whatever. It's cool. It's cute. And he looks warm. So that's excellent. Let's turn it this way. You can leave that all in there. Okay. All right. Here's what it looks like when you put in a portrait. And I know this is a darker portrait, but that is what it looks like. So it does look like it picked up all the details of the face, and it's not too dark around the spaces that are left over. I feel like I can see everything in her eyelashes, and that is like the smallest detail in this thing besides these little stitches, and all of that's in there. That looks beautiful. So I think micro portraits, you'll be very safe to use this printer. Okay, we have another piece of paper. What's left? Well, we have more traditional style. I can tell you right now it's going to work, but let's go ahead and do it. I love the perforation for the yellow. Thank you. Perfect. Third time's a charm. It still works. I love how this thing grabs the paper. Okay, we're going back to the traditional stuff now. And I think we can keep it at medium. There's some shading in my traditional, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what it would look like. Cool, so let's take a look at the traditional. So one interesting thing about this machine I noticed is when you put the image in, it's forward. So freedom, you can see in this page, the way I put it in the computer is forward. When I click it and it goes into the printer, it automatically flips it for you. So now it's perfect. What's that mean? It means you don't have to flip your image, which is great. We don't want to have to flip our image if we don't have to, right? So just put your images exactly how you want them into the program and it will flip it for you. Well, let's take a look. So here I see gorgeous, gorgeous lines. I see everything that I want to see in traditional. I see all the bold lines. I see some of the smaller lines. I left the shading in there, but it looks like you can see the differences between the lines and the shading. But really, I want you to focus on the parts where you can see the solid lines, and everything looks perfect. So it's a pretty easy style for testing these printers because the lines are so bold. So we're not worried about this style as much as we're worried about portraits and things like that. So let's do one more portrait, and this time we'll try that AI mode. I don't know what that is, so let's try it. Okay, so I have a picture here, portrait of a girl and a snake. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. We're gonna print one half in AI mode and one in standard. Not sure what it means, so we're gonna try to figure it out. Be nice if they're side by side, so that's what we're gonna do. So the first one we're gonna print up at the top and we'll print it standard. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and push that image to the bottom of the page. We're gonna go back and we're gonna press AI. So we have AI mode For all we know, it could stand for something else, but we're all assuming they mean artificial intelligence. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and print in medium as well, but just AI mode. So right now it's just feeding through. So AI is going to be at the bottom of the page and standards at the top. All right, it's doing the AI mode. Okay, let's check it out. Didn't see much of a difference yet. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the one at the bottom, that's the AI mode. For some reason, the AI decided to darken it. Maybe it's trying to help you out by detecting things in the image and making its own adjustments. Personally, I like driving, so this one on the left is the one that looks better, and I controlled it, so I like that. I think standard mode's perfectly fine. I'm not sure what the AI thing is. You can probably just ignore it given the fact that it did just ruin that print. So we're happy with the standard mode, and look how beautiful that is. Maybe if you have a very light print, you can turn on the AI mode and see if it fixes it. Something that the standard is just not getting. So that's the standard, and that's AI mode. So we like standard. Cool, so it definitely works for portraits. All right, so the Artfly prints beautifully. I hope you guys have a need for a good printer because I got one right here for you. But let's make sure this paper works. I got a little empty spot here. Not for long though. So I'm using Stencil stuff today. I also like Hold Fast for Stencil solution. I think it works beautifully. But Stencil stuff will do the trick too. All right, so here's the leftover paper. You can see after being saturated, the lines expand slightly, which is normal for all stencil paper, but it still doesn't look too messy. And then if we look at the stencil itself, what I'm seeing is really good. I'm not seeing too much saturation anywhere. I think the medium setting was perfect for portrait. If you were to go darker, there might be too much on the surface. I'm going to do my due diligence and let this dry for at least 10 minutes. 15 will be even better. So let's just start the timer. All right, 10 minutes later, and it looks so good still. The lips are still there, the eyes are still there, and this is just for letting it dry because it's crazy, but sometimes even just letting it dry, coming back, when you come back, you see more smudging than when you left, and it's very frustrating. I don't see that happening with this paper. Okay, so we have a beautiful Wonder Woman here, Gal Gadot. We're gonna try to take her off. So I'm pretending that I'm tattooing now, and I'm gonna do a wipe. Just one wipe. All right, so I'm working with this and I do one wipe and it's still there. I'm usually not gonna wipe so haphazardly. I'm usually gonna work in a corner. So it's withstand one full wipe and I still see all the details beautifully. I'll probably just, let's say I put in this corner here and then I want to start wiping it away. How long is that going to take? So I've done like 6, 7, 8 wipes. I'm still going, just trying to get this one corner off. And personally, the way it is right now, I could still trace it, but by now I should have it in with all those wipes. Again here, wiping it off. And I have a lot of water and soap on my stuff here, on my blue paper towel, my shop towel. So I've had to wipe quite a bit to get that off. And honestly, still now I can see a little bit. Okay, so we should be done with that part. Now we're tattooing this part. A few wipes. I would say get like a good 5 or 6 wipes before it starts lightening to a point where your eyes might not see it. Go. Just work on her hair now. That's the tricky part. Might even want to wipe the hair once just to see it a little clearer. Who knows? Hair is always so hard. A few wipes there. I can still see it. And we're gonna wipe the face once, twice, 3 times. Okay, you can still see a little bit there. But what's nice, it does come off a little faster, but honestly, I feel like the spirit paper gets on there and then you can't get it off. What I like is you can get this off if you'd really try at it. Of course, you got to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wipes, maybe more for the hair here because it's so saturated. And you can still see the face. So can't quite get it off with the soap. So your more saturated areas are definitely going to stay on longer and better, as you can see. The kind of tissue that's there can also affect this, surprisingly. This tissue up here sometimes is a little more sticky. So the place that you are working on, if it's rough or dry or anything funky going on with the skin, sometimes it's hard to stick the stencil to it. So I've got a nice kind of smooth patch of skin here. I think this is the best test for this. And I'm still wiping and I can still see a subtle hint, but I would say at this point with what I see to my eye in real time here, there's no way I would really be able to follow that. So I would say it's off. All right, so that's about the gist of the paper. I do think that no matter what I do, spirit paper just holds the best of all the papers I've ever tried, but this one's a close second, and I do get a better resolution from this one than spirit paper. Spirit paper tends to clump up, especially in the fine line areas, and like join together, and then you have to clean off some of that, and it smudges and it makes a whole catastrophe. When I put it onto the skin, I also notice when I take the stencil off that the remaining stencil looks very smudged. I think part of that is the resolution's just not as high, or the violet just smears a little bit more. So however they're using it on the surface of theirs, I think it's a little bit lighter, but it actually works better. It doesn't oversaturate. And as you can see, you're able to work on something small with lots of detail and still get it in before all the wipes are done. I'm sure you should be able to with what I just showed you. Always be careful when you're wiping, don't overdo it. We always work in sections, but all the professionals who've been doing this a while should understand that by now. So all in all, I give this Artfly by JCONLY an A+. This is a great thermal printer. I can guarantee you will love working with it in your shop. I also love the paper, and it's a little less expensive than spirit paper, only $18. And you can get that combined with this machine for about $288. Don't forget though, you can use code FLOATY at checkout. Just use our link in the description and like and subscribe. Bye guys.
Thank you. Bye.